I just go back to that KL Rahul innings. I'll keep going about in 2020 cricket, you've got to play fearless cricket. You can't have a number. I just think when KL bats sometimes in T20 cricket, he plays like the old school method that you're trying to get to a number. So let's get to 180. The teams that are really, really good in 2020 cricket now, they go for what's possible. They don't think of a number. What is possible? Is that ball there to hit out the ground? Hit it out the ground. And if the next ball's there to hit it out the ground, hit it out the ground. And if the next ball's there to hit it out the ground, hit it out the ground. Don't think, I've hit one out the ground. I'll just get one now. That is the old school way of thinking. This new era, you have to have the mindset that you're going to make mistakes, you're going to get caught on the edge, but you have to go for it. On a pitch like we saw this evening, it wasn't the kind of pitch that was tacky to start with. It was a good pitch at the start. Yeah. We've had a couple of games where it's been tacky and then they've ended up getting big scores, but today was a pure wicket from ball one. They needed a lot more runs and they needed a better mindset from KL Rahul.
Yeah, and the reason Michael is saying that, if I could just refresh everyone's memory, is because it was a 50 ball 61 from KL Rahul. He's effectively, Joy, almost, this criticism is, it seems a little harsh when someone's got 61 runs, but it's absolutely fair because it's the striker you're talking about. You've left the other, the other 70 balls to the rest of the team. You've taken 50 balls, which means you're set, you're seeing it well. It's Mumbai. Right, you're a class batsman like KL Rahul. It's your birthday as well. You're gonna get a few gifts. Come on, tempt fate a bit. So it does seem like, and when you're seeing in the end, and we're not saying that this is not hindsight being 2020. We called this in the mid game as well, that they may feel about 15 runs short. In the end, if it's 10 balls to spare, you're about 25 short.
Yep.
Exactly. And if you're set batsman, my problem is if you're set batsman, if you're batted 50 balls, you're the set batsman. If your set batsman is scoring at a strike rate of 120, what chance is there for the rest of the team? That means somebody has scored out of their pants to even get you to this position, which was Mayank Agarwal. But if you bat at 50 balls, your average must have to climb up to 135, 140 minimum. And 135, 140, I'm being very charitable out here. Guys who are batting that long are hitting it at 150, 160. That's the kind of runs are being scored out there. Rahul cannot afford to do it. And exactly, this is old style batting. Hit a 6, rotate strike. You don't hit a 6 and rotate strike. You hit a 6, which is in your zone again, you hit another 6. Exactly as Michael said it.
The due factor as well. KL Rahul spoken about it. Yes, there was stoppages in the game because the ball was getting very wet, and KL Rahul has mentioned that after the game, where he's saying that we should probably look at changing the balls because it gets very unfair on the bowler. Michael, just if you could just enlighten our viewers a little bit on the due effect that happens on the ball and what happens to the bowlers, and why KL Rahul would be saying this.
Yeah, it's not easy because the bowlers, they just want to have a grip of the ball. The seam bowlers, it's hard for spinners because they want a grip to be able to get some revolutions, and it's very difficult when it's just a little bit slow. It's like bowling with a bar of soap. Very difficult to be consistent with it. And the seamers just want to have a grip of the ball just to try and control it. And when it's just kind of sliding out the hands, but you can see full tosses arriving when you've got a slippery ball. But what I would say to Carol, your bowlers bowl quite a few no balls. The due factor doesn't play into the hands of bowling, putting your foot beyond that line. And that's a concern when you're making basic errors. And also, you can use it as an excuse for the reason why you didn't get enough runs. If they're being brutally honest, Punjab, they should have got 220 on that kind of wicket. They may still have lost. And you could easily argue that the due factor then plays a massive part. But, if I'm looking at Punjab, if they want to be a better team and they want to try and get into that top 4, which is going to be very, very difficult, Mumbai in. Delhi, you feel are going to be in. RCB, you feel are going to get in. Now, as Joy mentioned in the Harbour, they're playing for one spot. And the only way you can get into that 4th spot, you feel at this stage, is be brave. Yeah. You're not going to stumble in playing, kind of sensible cricket. T20 cricket's a game for the madman. Whack it. Don't worry about it. Just launch it. That's the only way you can play. And it's the only way that the Punjab team can get back into this competition is by completely freeing up their minds and going for it. And if they do, they might have a chance. If they don't, they've got absolutely no chance.